I know we're all in a bit of grief at the moment with the coronavirus, and what that means is that to a greater or lesser degree, we're shut down. I know I have many clients who are completely shut down. People in the wedding industry, the events business, service industries like salons and spas. Let me just kill that. Okay. So what this is doing is it's giving us time at home to plan, because this crisis will lift, and sitting on your hands and at home going woe is me and doing nothing about it is not going to get any of us anywhere. So what I wanted to do was encourage people and show people what can be done in your time down to prepare yourself for when business gets back together again. And part of that is about being visible for when the customers are ready to come back. These days, as you're aware, not many people use the old yellow pages to search for businesses. 99.9% of the population uses their phone, and they use Google to search for a business. I get a lot of questions from people in business. I do all my marketing on Facebook. Well, that's all very well for people who already know you, but people who don't know you, looking for a service or a product that you sell, will automatically go to Google, not Facebook. So Google is where you need to be visible. And today's session, I'll cover more detail in other sessions, but today is really about making sure that when business cranks up again, you are visible, highly visible, where people are searching, and that's Google. So I'll just do a bit of a screen share here. Tell me, now you should all be able to see my screen, is that right? Yep. Great, okay. So you imagine I'm looking for an air conditioning installer in Busselton. The first thing I do is go air conditioning Busselton, yeah? Now, there are only 3 ways you can be visible on Google. One of them is through advertising like that. Now, it's easy to get yourself to the top depending on how much money you spend on advertising. The next way you can be visible for when business comes together again is in these things here. They're called Google business listings. You've all seen them when you've searched for a restaurant or a dry cleaner or a gardening contractor. They're the things that come up first on people's phones, apart from the ads. Now, those 3 guys there get 91% of all the phone calls generated by that search. And that's a figure from Google. So that real estate there in a local business is the most valuable real estate you can have online. And if you're not there, if you're in the more businesses category, you are picking up or sharing about 9% of all the phone calls. So if you go down there, these guys get the crumbs. I'll give you an example. One of our clients is Jimmy from JR Plumbing and Gas. Now, when he came to us 18 months, 2 years ago, he was nowhere to be found. He was way down in, like down the bottom. Since we did some work on his Google business listing, he's been in the top 3 for about a year, and his phone calls have gone through the roof. If you search for restaurant Busselton, these guys get most of the phone calls. Now, these listings may vary a little depending on whether you're looking on a computer or a phone, but generally, and they're not fixed, they move up and down. So these Google business listings are as important as your website. Now, Wendy, I did a bit of research. In your case, I did a search for cycling Dunsborough. You're not there. And in fact, you don't even have a Google business listing. And it's really important that you have one, because otherwise you're not going to appear in here at all. Does that make sense, Wendy?
Yeah, Jenny, Greg.
Jenny, sorry, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Greg, my question there was, because we're operating from home, I've been reluctant to put a home address on there. How does that situate with advertising a home address?
You don't have to.
You don't have to?
No.
Okay.
It's better if you do.
Yeah.
You'll see here Southwest Boats and Bikes just have Geograph Bay Road.
Okay. Yeah, right? Don't need to be specific.
No. Yep. It's better if you can be, but you really need to be in this top 3 to get any traction. Yep. Okay? So you've got a lovely website, which is terrific, but nobody's finding it, because these things here are tied to your website. They're linked to your website. So if you search Cycling Dunsborough, I couldn't find you anywhere. So essentially, the business is invisible if it's not on the first page of Google. You may as well open the shop in the middle of the Great Sandy Desert. Okay?
Yep.
Similarly, let's have a look at insurance. Again, who here? There's someone here from Phoenix Insurance Brokers, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yep. Who's that?
Me, Joel.
Oh, Joel. Hi, Joel. Yeah, so you're there. But the difficulty, Joel, is that that's the first experience people have of your business when they see it on the Google business listing. Yep. And you've got 2 reviews and only a 3-star review.
Yeah.
Okay? So these Google business listings are like mini websites. It's absolutely vital that you put as much attention into these as it is that you put into your own website. And I'll show you inside one of these, a few of these listings shortly. So the way to do this is to concentrate or split your time between these listings and your own website. Don't ignore these, because they're really important. You'll see here, I've just done a search for salon marketing without specifying a location. That's my business there. And Google doesn't know where I am or who I am, because I've gone into Incognito. You're all familiar with Incognito?
No.
Anyone not familiar with Incognito?
Yep.
Yeah? Who's not familiar with it?
Me, Tricia Woods.
Okay, I'll take you through that. Okay, so when you're in a normal Chrome browser, like this one, if you go to the very top, I'm not sharing the screen, am I? That's pretty silly of me. If you go right to the top, you'll see 3 little dots here. What you need to do is go into Incognito, open a new Incognito window. The reason you do that is because if you just use Chrome normally to search for your service or product, because you've done it so many times and you're logged into Chrome, Google knows who you are and where you are and throws up results that it thinks you want to see, which is your own business at the top. What you want to do is do it so that Google doesn't know who you are. You could be anyone, anywhere, and that gives you a more accurate reading, if you like, of where you are. So we'll go back into here, and you'll see here that I've just searched for salon marketing, and that's us there. All right? Now, I want to take you through some of the things that you need to be aware of when you're managing these listings to be visible. So I'm going to sign in to a Google account, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's just go to Google and Incognito, and I'll sign in. First of all, you go, you know how to log into your own Google accounts, yeah? You go to business.google.com, and that logs you into your Google business listing. So we'll go through that process. I'm logging in as one of my team. And then I can go and see all of the accounts that we manage when it finally loads up. Okay, so let's have a look at one of our accounts. This is one in Melbourne. Now you can actually see in Insights here what kind of numbers you're getting, how customers search for your business. So the blue line here is people just searching for a hair salon or a beauty salon or a plumber in that particular location. And you'll see here that these are the search terms that people are using. Those are really important for when you're optimizing your website, but I'll do that in another session. You can see what people are searching for and you can see what results you're getting. Let's go over a quarter. You'll see here that these have dropped off in the last few weeks because of the coronavirus and people are making fewer trips out. Again here, this gives you an idea of what kind of visits you're getting to your website. So in the last quarter, they've had 1,450 visits to their website from people clicking on the Google listing there and going through to the website. Google records every click from your Google business listing through to your website. And it tells you where people are searching from. So that's the geographical area that people are mostly searching for. And it also tells you how many phone calls you've had in the last month from people clicking on a phone. You'll see, you know the click to call button when you see these Google business listings? Google records every time somebody clicks that phone button. And this business in the last month has had 166 people call from clicking on that click to call button. And they're the most popular times people call. And this gives you an idea of how many people are viewing your photos on your Google business listing. So this business is getting in a month about 19,000 views compared with the competitors, which are getting 2,000 views. And the reason for that is that we spend a lot of time with these businesses optimizing this particular listing. And it also compares the number of photos you've got with your competitors. Now that's important because photos are about 30% of Google searches. So if we go into Restaurant Bustleton, for example, and have a look at images, you'll see these images are at the top because they've spent a lot of time optimizing their listing and their website. Now, optimizing images is really important in here. So when you're setting up your Google business listing, you want to pay attention not just to throwing any old photos up, but making sure those photos are optimized before you put them up. Has anyone not heard of optimizing photos? Or
No, I don't know what that really means.
Don't know what that means? Anyone else doesn't know what it means?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, I'll take you through that process. So let me go back to my screen and I'll find a website. Okay, let's take the plumbing website. So this is their website and he's got photos on it. And I can bet you that none of them have been optimized. So the way to test it is to go to your own website and download a photo. So let's say we download this photo. So you right click on it and save the image as, and can you see in the bottom of this screen here, the name of the photo? The name of the photo is G2 brackets 1.jpg. it's meaningless to anyone searching for a plumber in Dunsborough. So what we need to do is optimize those photos before they go up to your website or your Google business listing.
Okay.
So I'll take you across to where I've downloaded a couple of photos. I've taken one from your website, Jenny, and I've taken one from the plumbing website. You'll see here on that photo, Jenny, there's no optimization in the name of the image. I know this is tedious, but it's absolutely vital. What you want to do is actually name that image something that's relevant to what people are searching for. So that might be cycling gear Dunsborough .jpg. Yeah?
Yep.
And then what we do is we use a geotagging program called GeoSetter. There's lots of them. And you go into that and you actually give that a GPS location for where you are. So what we do there is we go there, Dunsborough, we put Dunsborough in, we search for Dunsborough, and we apply the GPS location to that picture. And we save that picture.
Wait, could you just go over where you set that geotag? Sorry, just step back from there.
So say that again, Janine.
Could you just please show us how you set that tag, that geotag?
Yep. You go. This is a GeoSetter program that we use. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
you set the search term. That's where we are. You apply it to that photo. So you'll see here that I've applied it to the photo, and it's already saved. But when you apply it to the photo, you save it up here, and there are the GPS. That's the GPS location of that photo.
Right.
And then if we go back into the file location where you've saved the photos, and you can do 10 of these at a time, or 50 or 100 of them. That photo, there's the original photo, which I can now get rid of. And there's the photo that I've just put GPS locations into. And if you go into properties, you right click on it and go into properties. Can you all see that? Okay. Go into details of that and you'll see that the GPS location is there. So when you upload that to your website and Google, your Google business listing, Google records that information. It's called EXIF information. But not only that, you want to give the photo a title. So we might give it a title of Cycling Gear Dunsborough, and you can actually copy that and put it into the subject. And then you want to add some tags. These are called meta tags. So it might be cycling, it might be Dunsborough, it might be bicycles. How do I spell bicycles? Is that right? No, it's not. But anyway, you'll see what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Bicycling. Anyway, I haven't spelled it right.
So Greg, this is just in the properties of the file you're doing this.
That's correct. Yep.
Because you can also add the meta tags.
These are the meta
The
tags.
image properties, like in the website that I use, you add the meta tags that way. Is that?
You can add them that way as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
When you're when in your comments, you want to make sure that your comments are relevant to your business. So this might be whatever the name of your business is, Jenny. Name of business,
Yeah.
Address of business, phone number. You put all that in. You put in the name of your website. So you put a website address in there. You make sure that you apply that to all the photos and then save it. And then that photo is ready to go up into your Google business listing and your website. So that's part of the process of optimizing these Google business listings.
Okay. Very great.
Yeah.
Can you just download this geotag program, or does one have to buy it, or how do we get that?
You can download it. It's free.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's called GeoSetter.
GeoSetter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the process of being visible or helping yourself to be visible. Now, it's not the only part of it. One of the most important parts, about 10% of the value of your search engine optimization is in your reviews. Now, these reviews have been fairly recent. These haven't been replied to because they haven't had time. You'll see here, this has been
Not
replied.
sharing
Oh, we're not showing you. Sorry about that. So these reviews are recent. It's important to reply to those reviews. Log in and reply. Google gives you a notification when you get a new review, so there's no excuse not to. Google takes a lot of notice of people replying to reviews. Who's ever had a bad review? Anyone?
Yeah, we have. As you mentioned before, we've got that 3-star rating. We've got one that gave us a 1-star and one that gave us a 5-star.
Right.
Yeah, it's frustrating because the 1-star one's not even a client. So
that's true.
we tried to reply to it. Do the best that we can, but if you're not getting enough views on there, it doesn't sort of weigh it up properly and give an accurate reflection of the business and the feedback that you get.
Okay, Joel, the only way or the most efficient way to counter that is to bury it in positive reviews.
Yeah.
Okay, so eventually you'll get enough of them so that the negative reviews will be totally outweighed by the positive reviews.
Yeah.
Does anyone not know how to get more reviews?
Yeah, I'm not really too sure how to get more reviews apart from asking people to leave a review or a comment.
Okay. If you go into your Google business listing, you'll see down here where is it? There is a link you can get. Reviews. There is a link you can pick up. I'm not sure where. Home. It might be this one here. That's it there. You copy that and email it and text it to people with a message saying, would you mind giving us a review?
Okay.
Sometimes these have reviews. These have an actual get more reviews with this link in it. I'll go to another one and have a look for you. But reviews are absolutely vital. This is another one that we manage for a client who lives in Margaret River but has childcare centres which have all been shut down in Melbourne. No, I can't find the review button here, but it is there. I think that's the one there.
I think they've taken it off, Greg, because they're not accepting people to reply to the reviews at the moment.
Yeah, that may be the case, yeah. But Google changes this interface around on a regular basis, so you're just going to have to search for it. Now, when we first started with this client, they had 2 reviews. Now, I don't know how many they've got, 30 or 40. And that's made a big difference to their listing. Any questions on that process so far? You'll have to unmute yourself, yeah.
Yeah, so Greg, I'm a little unclear. Are we supposed to be using the review button, which isn't currently there, or should we be sharing the share business profile button?
You can share the profile and still use that to get people to review you. Because if you have a look here, let's have a look. If we go share your business profile and get that link and go to another tab, it will open in another tab. If you send it to someone, it'll open in another tab and they'll be able to find the reviews button. Here we go. See all reviews and write a review.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Greg, on reviews, we've got a number of one-star reviews which are bogus, and when tracking the user, you can see that they've done multiple reviews all over the world of one star. One of the reviews says how terrible our restaurant is, and we don't have a restaurant. I've gone through the process of flagging them with Google on 3 or 4 occasions, and I just no luck getting them removed. I've had some removed, but the others are still dragging our rating down. Yep,
that will happen, Tony. Unfortunately, Google is a 10,000-pound gorilla and very, very difficult to deal with. We have had some success in getting reviews removed, but as you can imagine, Google has 100,000 employees, and worrying about a little business in Dunsborough, Western Australia, is the least of their problems at the moment.
So just keep flagging them?
You keep flagging them and keep getting positive reviews. It's really important to get positive reviews. Okay, any other questions on that process? No? All right. The next thing in terms of visibility and getting your business on the front page of Google is something called backlinks and citations. Have you heard of those? Anyone not heard of those? No? Okay.
Please tell us.
Okay, here we go. I'll give you an idea. Let's go to another tab. Let's search for restaurant Bustleton. Now, can you see my screen? Everyone good?
Yeah.
Okay. I've done a search for restaurant Bustleton. You'll see here there's TripAdvisor. There's AGFG, whatever that is. There's an organic listing for the Goose restaurant. There's another directory listing. There's the Equinox restaurant listing. Zomato is another directory listing. TripAdvisor again. MargaretRiver.com is a directory listing. These directories, you can list your business on all of these directories and with links back to your website and your Google business listing. The more of these you have, Google calls them authority listings. So you need to make sure that, and this is part of the SEO process that my staff go through. When we set up SEO for a website and a Google business listing, part of that SEO process is creating these backlinks and citations from elsewhere on the internet. So that's an ad. That is an organic listing. That's an organic listing. Okay, so we're down to the organic listings now. But some of the other directories you would have heard of, Womo, Yelp. Anyone got any ideas of other directories that hold these listings?
I'm working on oursouthwest.com.au with Emma.
Yep.
I think we've got about 250 now.
Absolutely. Louisa's business, Local Advantage, is essentially a directory listing. So you can list yourself, if you're a member of Local Advantage, you can list yourself on Louisa's website. Is that correct, Louise?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And just a little shameless plug right now, I've just introduced a new function for our businesses so they can list a weekly special just to help them, you know, as everything's changing so quickly. Normally our offers have always been long-term, but now you can do a short-term offer as well, just so you can keep it fluid with what's happening.
So those directory listings, including Louisa's, are important in creating what Google refers to as authority listings. So the more of those good listings you can get, the better. You can automate it. You can actually automate directory listings and backlinks. It's not a good idea. Google knows that you're doing things automatically and discounts the value of them. That's why we have SEO specialists whose tedious job is to sit in front of their computer and manually create these directory listings one after the other over a period of time rather than all at once. So those directory listings are really important. So if you go to TripAdvisor, the higher up in TripAdvisor, the better result you'll get. You'll see here that Yarry, which is in Dunsborough, has obviously spent a lot of time and effort on their listing in TripAdvisor, because we searched for Bustleton and we got Yarry in Dunsborough. And TripAdvisor is a highly ranked directory site. So those directory listings are absolutely vital. And that's just that's approximately 15% of the value of your entire recognition in Google search.
Greg, can I ask about those directory listings as Tricia Woods? How many of those do you find do require a membership fee or a subscription? Is that common?
Yes, it is. Some of them do, and some of them are free, Tricia.
Okay.
Go for the free ones first, obviously, but the free ones tend to have a lower value than the paid ones. But when you're in that top 3 in the Google business listings, you'll notice an immediate spike in phone calls. So you have to do the numbers. You do as much as you can for free initially, but eventually it may be that you need directory listings that are paid for.
Yep. Okay. Thanks.
Womo is another popular one, but some of them charge several $100s a year.
Yeah, I've been in one before, and it wasn't that effective for me personally. But
yeah, being in one isn't enough.
No.
The general rule of thumb is that you need to be in 20 to 30 of them to have a good effect.
Yep.
And yes, it's an incredibly tedious task to do it, but it's pretty vital. Okay, so the other thing to be aware of in your Google business listing is that, as I said, it's like a mini website, if you like. So if we go into this one here, this is a childcare centre. You'll see here posts. That allows you to do, it's kind of like blogging on the Google business listing. Posts are really important. So what we do for this website, or this Google business listing, is frequently but not regularly, we put a new post on it. It's just a picture with some words and a call to action. And it's as simple as copying and pasting from your Facebook page. If you've got a post on your Facebook page with a picture, you can actually copy and paste that into your Google business listing. So that sends a signal to Google that your Google listing is loved and cherished and nurtured on a frequent basis. Once every couple of weeks is probably enough. They tend to take, this one was last updated on February the 23rd. It's due for another one. So if we now go add update, it will ask us to add photos. You can add as many as you like to an update, and then add some, write the post, and then you can add a button. So this might be a button to book on your website. It might be a button to take them to your shop. It might be a button to take them to a blog post on your website. Or it might just be a call now button. If we put a call now button, because you've already got your phone number in the Google business listing, it will take that phone number and people just click on that that post, and your phone will ring. So it's kind of important to actually spend some time updating this Google business listing. Does all of that make sense?
Yeah.
Not hard. And you'll see here these updates go back to a year or two. And that has helped enormously. So if we go to, I don't know, go to one of their other, their listings, they've got 3 childcare centres. This one's in South Melbourne. So if we do a search for childcare South Melbourne, and you can imagine how many childcare centres are in South Melbourne. There they are there in the top 3. That's an ad. Listing number 1, listing number 2, listing number 3. And that's helped by the fact that we update those posts on a regular basis. So you can see here in this post, we've put several photos, or 2 photos. You can put videos in there. Again, that's really important. Okay, I'll stop. Questions? Come on, folks, hit me with them.
Greg, we're an event rather than a business. So we're looking to attract people to an event. So we only occur for 2 weeks a year.
Yep.
So we're not a kind of business as such, but we are a business because we have an income and outgoings and all of that. But essentially, we're looking to react to people in a different way, being an event.
Yep.
Are Google business listings important for an event?
Yes, they are. Absolutely. Absolutely. People are looking, let's say, for example, somebody's searching for artists, Margaret River. Are they going to find you?
Probably not.
No. But you want them to, because you have open studios once a year. And that's where you want people to go to. See, I'll cover this in a later session, but what you want to be doing, Jim, is building a database of email addresses and names and phone numbers.
We have that, yeah.
You have that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll cover that in the session, I think, next week. So you want to build that database so that you can mail to them.
Email to them, yeah.
Email to them, yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Well,
yeah.
Well, not just email, but email them, text message them. With links to your website. I presume Open Studios has its own website?
It does.
Yeah. So the Google business listing for you is really more of a database building process than anything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you're not essentially a local business. You're more of an umbrella business. Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can see that.
But it's still important to have it. Anyone else?
Greg, I've got a question.
Who's that? Can't see.
Jenny Fletcher.
Hi, Jenny.
With the geotagging of
Can we see you, Jenny, just briefly? Thank you.
With the geotagging of the images on your Google business, so say for example I'm putting up an image that Christian took in America, am I geotagging that location in America, or do I still geotag our business in Dunsborough?
Where does most of your business come from?
From Western Australia.
I would concentrate on the local listing. You there, Jenny? Jenny seems to have disappeared. I've lost you, Jenny. Now I can hear you again.
My internet's so slow.
Yeah. Look, you can mix and match it a bit, but bear in mind that you want to match it so that it's relevant to or proportionate to where most of your business comes from. think Jenny's frozen.
Okay.
We'll wait for Jenny to come back. Anyone else?
So if that in that case, Greg, would she put the location of the photograph in the caption, but geotag it to Dunsborough?
Yes, with a rider to that, in that a lot of this is based on keyword research. So before you start doing this this geotagging of images, you want to do some pretty extensive keyword research on how people and what people are searching for when they find you. That will help. That will help you work out. See, is anyone familiar with analytics? Google Analytics? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Google Analytics will tell you where people are coming from when they find you. So if you're finding that you're getting in your Google Analytics, you're getting a lot of people coming from the USA to your website, you can then start leveraging that and geotagging and optimizing your both your website and your Google business listing for those locations. But you need to do some pretty extensive keyword research before you go ahead and do that. Because Jenny, yours is not a local business as such; it's more of a global business, yeah. But bearing in mind that most of your sales come from people walking into the shop, so they've Googled, and Christian Fletcher Galleries is a very, very well-known name throughout WA. So people in Perth or Kalgoorlie will often Google Christian Fletcher Galleries, but they probably will also be Googling artwork Dunsborough or artwork Margaret River. So we won't know that until you do some pretty serious keyword research. Yeah? Thanks. Anyone else?
Yes, Greg, I'd like to ask a question about that screen that you were using for the
Sorry, I can't quite hear you. Can you sit a bit closer to the microphone?
I don't even know where it is on my computer.
That
better?
Who's speaking?
It's Melanie.
Oh, hi, Mel. We
Hi.
can't see you.
I didn't even turn the thing on. Is that the little button on the bottom?
Bottom left. Yep.
Is that better? Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can. Got you now. Yep.
Yeah. You know the screen that you use for optimizing? It looked like it was in a like a Microsoft platform.
Yep.
I use a Mac. Is there something I can use on that without having to use the Microsoft program? Or
I don't know, Mel. If you just Google GeoSetter,
yep.
It'll tell you whether it's Mac or if it's Mac compliant.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
There are other ways of doing it on a Mac, I believe, but I don't know. I've got a Mac, but I don't use it for that sort of thing.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you.
If you're using a Mac and you want to have a look at the properties of an image, you right-click on the image and go down to Info rather than Properties on a PC.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And that will give you similar information.
Yeah, I use that in my photos all the time, so that's fine.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you.
Now, in your business, Mel, you would have shut down completely, yeah?
Yeah. Let all our staff go, and it's going to be a difficult couple of months, I think. Probably 6 months to a year, I'd say. So a lot of clients postpone and move their bookings forward, but it's going to have a knock-on effect for the next year's bookings as well, I think, from what I'm gathering at the moment.
It will. So you now have time to make sure that when things do come good, you're front and centre.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got big plans.
Big plans? Let's have a look at where you are at the moment, Mel. So if we do a search for, what are we going to search for? Events, Margaret River? What do you know what people are searching for?
I've had my screen up today. Insights. Most people have been searching, obviously our name seems to be top of the list. Wedding venues Southwest, wedding venues Margaret River. I'm not sure why we keep popping up there, the next two down. and still wedding venues for some reason for the next 5. And then the 6th one's like highlighting.
Sorry, say that again, Mel.
The 6th one is highlighting.
So you're not in here for wedding venues, Margaret River?
No, which it shouldn't be anyway because we don't have a venue, but I don't know how that sort of works.
Yeah. So what do people search for? They'd search for event hire, wouldn't they?
Even like items like dance floors, lighting, marquees, that sort of thing.
How do you spell marquees?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, there you are. That's a good thing. But what you want to do, Mel, is find out what people are actually searching for and optimise for what they're searching for, not what you are.
Okay, right.
So it's all very well ranking for fairy lights, Margaret River, but hardly anyone searching for fairy lights, Margaret River.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So the venues, because I've got there's the 4 searches that have come up using venues in the Margaret River area.
And you've come up in that?
Yes, well, that's what they're saying anyway. I'm in my insights.
Yes, but in an actual search, you're not coming up.
Yeah, gotcha. So how does that work with insights then?
It tells you what people are searching for, not what you rank for.
Right, okay, got you. Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So if we're searching for venues, Margaret River, that's what comes up.
Right, okay. Okay.
Now, I'll qualify that by saying I'm not an SEO specialist. I know what to do, but I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
I'm trying to learn all that side of things.
Yeah, SEO is done by people who sit in front of a computer with fingerless gloves drinking Dr. Pepper at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not a job for normal people.
Yeah.
Okay?
So I need to pass that one on.
It's a job for nerds, yeah.
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 Excellent.
People who do not have a life.
Okay. I will find someone that qualifies for that then.
Doesn't have a life. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. This is, and bear in mind that this is what works today.
Yeah.
Next week, Google will change everything.
Yeah.
And you'll find that like Jimmy from the JR Plumbing rang me last weekend and said, I slipped off the radar. My phone calls have dried up completely. So this is not a set and forget thing. You can be at the top of the Google business listings today, and in a month you go and have a look and you've disappeared completely. So that's why this is not a set and forget. It's a constant maintenance thing. So it's not something that you can just, right, we're there, and then not look at it again for a year.
Great.
Okay. Has that been useful to anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great.
Very useful,
Particularly
thank
on
you.
the photos.
Sorry?
Thanks.
Excellent. Thanks, Greg.
Okay, so does that give you enough information to at least go and do some of it yourselves?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
I have
Okay.
one last question.
Yeah.
So if you are coming up in one area, let's say if you search and you're coming up in Yellingham, but you're not coming up at all in Loughborough, which is just 10 minutes away.
If you're coming up in Bustleton,
I haven't searched for Bustleton. I come up in Yellingham, but not way down the list.
yeah. So
How do you optimize for both?
essentially what Google does is looks at the address that you put into your Google business listing and puts a lot of store in that. To counter that, you need to put a lot of effort into the other areas, like the image optimization, the service areas, Angela. So when you set up your Google business listing, and look, it takes us about 2 weeks to set one up properly. So
I haven't put effort into my business listing. So
sorry,
yeah.
what was that?
I haven't put effort into my business listing much, so I definitely have work to do there.
Okay, you've got to put a lot of effort into it. So if you have a look at this listing here, you'll see service areas. You can add service areas to that.
Right.
That helps. It's not the be all and end all, but it helps.
Sure.
Getting backlinks from other directories helps. Optimizing your images for various areas helps. So if we go into another, let's say a lot of the work we do is on these Google business listings for, say, like Sandgroper Contracting, which is here in Dunsborough. Now, they service from Kwinana down to Albany. So that's really hard to rank for everywhere. But if you have a look at the photos, every photo in here has been optimized in a different way for a different location. So if we do a search for, what do? They do hydro excavation, you know, when you dial before you dig up pipes and things. So if we go into hydro excavation, I don't know, Bunbury. Oh, there's supposed to be oh, that's right. There's supposed to be an ad there, but it's the budget must have run out, so he's not appearing. If we do septic pump out, he pumps out septic tanks. There he is there, because he's not appearing in there yet, but we've put an ad that people will see. So if we go Bunbury, there he is there, because he doesn't appear yet organically in a search for Bunbury. So the way you can counter not appearing is to run an ad.
What kind of price are those ads, Greg?
How long's a piece of string?
Right.
The pricing on Google Ads is a formula that depends on how much competition you have, how well your ad matches your landing page, and a whole bunch of other factors. So I've got a Google ad specialist who goes through all of those parameters, and running ads in Google isn't just a case of running ads and sending them to your website. You've got to send them to a particular landing page. It's quite a complex process to do it properly. And the better you do it, the lower the price you'll pay per click.
Okay.
So it depends on the competition in your area, in your market. So if you are advertising for what's a highly competitive skincare, for example. If you search for skincare, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So I don't know why this is here. That's a Google thing. All right, if you search for Skincare Australia, there's an ad there. Now that ad might be costing them $10 for every person who clicks on it, because it's so competitive. You see all the competition up here? These are also ads.
Yeah.
So there's no fixed answer on that.
Okay.
I don't recommend anyone doing any Google or Facebook advertising unless they hire a specialist to do it, because you can just blow a lot of money.
Okay.
Greg?
Yeah.
So we're just going back to those service areas in the listing. Let's say, because my studio is in Yallingup, and I don't actually go to other locations. So how do you then, I mean, but I draw customers from, or students from Busselton, Margaret River, Karamat, but my actual location is Yallingup. So
Yep.
how do I then add other service areas?
Just add them. Just add them. Just put them in.
You don't have to put a physical address?
No. You're in Yallingup, but you service Busselton and Margaret River and Bunbury and whatever. Just add them in. I think you can put in up to 20.
Okay, so it's just saying that you draw customers from that area, but you don't have to physically actually service, like go to that location.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. You can actually determine that there's a space in the listing that you fill in that says you go to other people's locations or they come to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
So a bit of homework for you all while you're all sitting at home twiddling your thumbs. Use the time and use the time and absolutely nail those Google business listings and directories. So we've kind of run out of time. Next week I'm going to go through making sure that your website ticks all the boxes, that it's set up properly, not just for optimization, but to make use of the traffic that's coming to it. What you need to pay attention to and what you can ignore. I'm going to go through how to tweak your website quickly to take advantage of whatever traffic you're getting. So this really has been today has really been about visibility. Next week is about, let's assume you're visible and you're getting traffic, let's make the most use of it. If anyone would like any further help with any of that, I'm contactable here in Dunsborough. Website is gregmilner.com.au. If you need to email me, it's greg@gregmilner.com.au, and pepper me with questions. And if you need actual people to do some work for you, get in touch and I can put you in touch with the right people. Any last questions?
No.
Excellent.
Thank you, Greg.
Hope that's all been useful. I'll put the recording up on YouTube. You can go and have a look at it if you wish.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See you next week, okay?
Thank you.
No problem.
Yes.
Okay, cheers.